Morning, morning, everybody. Michelle is here. Today is Saturday, and this is usually the day everyone works on certain chores and stuff around the house, right? Right? You do things that you need to get done that you couldn't get done during the week, right? 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 Okay. That's what I thought. But anyway, I feel good this morning. It's a little overcast. I was gonna do a bit of a garage sale, get rid of more stuff, but it looks like it might rain, so we'll see. We'll see what happens with that. But I just want to share some things once again about the state of our situation. How about that? The state of our planet, and the kind of exposures of things that will come to bear, so to speak. So I don't know if I told you, because of the pole shift, the overpopulation, the constant interference with energy, whether which is usually used for nefarious reasons, that obsession with energy, to always create. See, the thing about the consciousness of the people that are so-called leaders, and I told you where they like to house themselves, and then it's usually politicians, these so-called billionaire, millionaire business owners, investors, law enforcement, more specifically and especially FBI, CIA, and the military, and indoctrinated followers of those branches of entities. What's going to start happening? Well, let me just tell you about the planet first. Because of our constant interference with everything related to the process of this planet, the natural rotations, the natural climate, everything's been interfered with. Where I told you, this planet is spinning. Okay, and at some point, this planet is going to spin out of control into the sun and into a black hole. All right. At that time, I mean, so there's a timing for everything. Okay, there's a time and structure for everything. There's a season for a reason, right? We all say these quotes and age old philosophy, age old tales, but we rarely are paying attention to what all that means and what that does to your thoughts. Okay, your thoughts respond to certain series of words. Did you know that? Okay. Because of our interference, the climate is, like I said, is disturbed. Okay. I told you we've had a pole shift. And this is to the so-called self-proclaimed scientists and engineers. I'm mainly speaking to them. Okay, that supposedly care about, those fields of study. I'm also talking to psychiatrists, you know, philosophers, scholars, news media outlets, you know, these so-called intelligent minds. How about that? That you love to, make sure we all understand that and know that. Um, Pole shift, which is continually happening at an unnatural pace. Okay, the interference with the climate, with the weaponized materials of weaponized equipment, I should say. Interfering with that, and so in other words, there are things that were forecast to happen a million years into the future if everything was equal and being processed properly. There are things that are forecast to happen that should have happened a million years from now, 2 million years from now, and because of the human interference, All of that is speeding up. Okay. So what does that mean? Well, it means events that should have happened a million years in the future are reversing back quickly and soon will be happening sooner than later. Okay. Um, and there's not a thing anyone can do about it. How about that? Okay. How about that? So that's why I say time, time, there is a time for everything. And when you interfere, all you got to do is, that's a scientific thing. Prove it for yourself when it comes to time. And if you interfere, what happens to time? Okay. So in other words, like I said, things that should happen million years in advance that we should not even be concerned about are coming back to haunt. Okay. And I told you everything's about energy. Okay. That, that so many so-called intelligent minds are attempting to exploit. And they're going to really know who's in charge at some point. Okay. But in the meantime, what's going to happen to these lower level vibrational human beings, and even scientists too. There's a lot of them that may be high consciousness, but they still have there's something that's imbalanced about it. It's not neutralized about them. Like I said, we have, some of these higher level so-called intellectuals. These are intellectual talking heads. Yeah, they have a high consciousness, but there is a such thing as biting off more than you can chew. And that's what a lot of them have done. Because of their interference, wanting to deny reality. Deny reality about who they are, what they are, and why they are. Okay, and not being able to accept who are the carriers of hereditary properties, and their attempts to keep interfering with that and denying that it even exists, and attempt to twerk it and inject this and take out this, and with our DNA is what I'm talking about. That's why it's so important for them to have our DNA. And a lot of us unsuspectingly were forced and manipulated into doing that. Tracing your DNA is what was told to you, but that's not what it is at all. And these billionaires are not going to tell you the truth, of course, but they don't have to, because I told you there is a cause and effect. Okay. Dark people and black people are carriers of hereditary properties. That's scientific. It can be proven. But nope. These intellectual talking heads, are not accepting that they are not the shit. How about that? That they are not these supreme beings that they have projected for thousands, hundreds of thousands of years, possibly. Who knows? And that is, as far as when it all happened, that's becoming irrelevant too, because like I said, we fucked up time by our interference. Okay, everything's out of alignment in certain factors of the structure of how this planet is supposed to operate, and that's all because of human interference. Now, I can guarantee you people of color weren't involved in that. So guess who were? And you just figure that all out yourself. In their secret caves, in their secret mountains, in their dark rooms, in their labs, playing God. I told you, they're playing God. Okay. And God is, remember, we all agree God is what? Energy. It's all creational energy. But for these intellectual talking heads, they can't accept that. They think they are the supreme being, and everybody else must bow to them and worship them. And so, like I said, millions and millions and millions of years ago, there was a particular, you know, um, full, an advanced human being. He was a spiritual leader, and he done some interference. How about that? And created a catastrophe, via cloning, via Android, via whatever technology existed, and thus reaped havoc all through this universe of planet Earth, and and affecting other planets as well. So, what am I talking about this morning on Saturday? Is there's a series of things that are going to be happening. I said that already. Okay. The so-called scientists are burying their heads about it, and they can frankly care less, really. So, and that's not surprising. It ought not be surprising. So, every one of us are going to have to start being individually, and I mean it with as much force and non-force as possible, stressing how important it is to be thinking for yourself and figuring out how you're going to survive. That is your top priority, is my point. Is how am I going to survive? And eventually over the course of time, like I said, like-minded people are going to congregate together. And that means that there's going to be a separation of people, which it ought to be, actually. But the separation is of survival. It's almost like a state of emergency that we're under, and we have been for a while. So now everything is coming to bear and coming to a result, right? A cause and effect, and so a lot of people are not going to like certain things that are going to be happening around them, and again, you're going to be where you need to be. Okay, some people, like I said, are going to be living in paradise. Some of you are going to be living in your self-created living hell. Okay, so I want to send peace and love all over the universe, everybody, and I want to end on this. If you are a genuinely righteous, loving, kind human being, your thoughts will reflect that, and that means your environment will as well. Okay, so I want to send peace and love to everyone, especially those that are doing the right things, regardless, and they're not seeking attention for it. They do it all in the background to make a difference in the lives of people, because they love people, they love themselves more specifically and more importantly. And then once that's activated, everything else takes care of itself. I'm living proof of that as well, because I practice what I preach and I walk the talk. Okay, so don't stop, keep moving, and trust me, I'll be back.